Yay Networks.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Casillejos, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. My name's Nick Adams.
I'm Anna. Amy.
And I'm Lacey G.
And today we're going to be breaking down the fourth track on Speak Now, Taylor's version. We're talking about Speak Now.
Woo! Speak Now! Woohoo!
So Taylor had said about this album whenever she was gearing up to release Taylor's version of Speak Now, she said, I first made Speak Now completely self-written between the ages of 18 and 20. The songs that came from this time in my life were marked by their brutal honesty, unfiltered diaristic confessions, and wild wistfulness. I love this album because it tells a tale of growing up, flailing, flying, and crashing, and living to speak about it.
And I love that Speak Now, the song, is just so visual. You know, I mean, all of her songs are, but it's a fun little story she's telling us. And when it was like a promotional single, there was like an image for it, and it's like an image of Taylor standing up in a wedding, and speaking now. And I think because of that image, I feel like other Swifties were had a Mandela effect where I could have sworn there was a music video for this song. Have sworn, but there isn't, and it's so weird to think about because I feel like maybe the song itself is so visual and it is such a story that you could see it as a music video. And because of that one picture and whatever, it's we all feel like there was a music video, but there wasn't. It's this really weird feeling.
That's actually some trivia that I saw. Exactly what you said, Mandela effect, that people and fans think that there could have been a music video, but what they're probably remembering was her performing and acting it out on tour. And she had an appearance on the sitcom New Girl where she played a character objecting to a wedding. So I think those combined made people kind of seem to remember that there was a music video, but there's not.
It's weird. And I didn't even think about it until recently. Before we got Speak Now Taylor's version, it was a few months ago, I saw a TikTok video of somebody being isn't it crazy how there isn't a video for Speak Now?
And you're like, no.
And then I was like, wait, what? And I was reading the comments and a bunch of people were like, wait, yeah, there is. But there's not. Why have we been gaslighting ourselves into thinking it's a weird feeling. It's a weird sensation. I don't know.
Have you guys ever been at a wedding where someone spoke up?
No, that's crazy. I kind of thought one of y'all would do it at my wedding just for
just for a funny bit?
To be on brand.
Are you disappointed?
But no, I'm glad you didn't. That would have been really awkward. It would have been kind of terrible. But
yeah, I've never seen one in person. I wonder, does that actually happen? Does that even need to be a part of the ceremony anymore? Speak now or forever hold your peace?
Yeah, do people still say that?
Yeah. I mean, maybe not in every single ceremony, but I'm more often than not.
Okay. Yeah. If you were in a situation where somebody that you're in love with, or you think you're supposed to be with, and you're at their wedding, would you actually wait until that moment to speak up?
No,
or would you say something before?
Way before.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, before.
And let's be honest here. At least for my wedding, we got legally married before the actual ceremony. It was already legally on paper, right? Do most weddings do that? Or is it
yeah, I think you get married legally ahead of time and then an officiant just kind of
signs it?
Formalizes it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You go get your marriage license and all that. Mm-hmm.
But if you're waiting until the moment of the wedding to say something, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You had plenty of time before then to say something. And it is interesting because now that I'm older, I know people who have gone through with weddings or marriages knowing that this potentially wasn't the right person, but you're coming to that age where you feel an obligation. I just recently reconnected with a girlfriend who was like, I had no business getting married to the first guy I married, but they had all these plans and obligations and no one stopped her. And at the time, it didn't feel bad to me. I had no hesitation in their union. But then now that I'm older, I was like, there's so many red flags and reasons why y'all had no business being together, but we were also immature. And it's so delicate, too, to tell somebody, I don't like your person. I don't choose your person, because then you're risking losing that friend for forever. What if you're wrong? What if you're completely wrong about that person? So it's very touchy. I am old enough now and don't care if I thought somebody was making a wrong decision. I would speak up about it. But then if you don't respect my decision, then I'd have to respectfully back off and not do it anymore. I've been that way with girlfriends with like job decisions. I don't agree with what you're doing, but you're going to do it and I'm not going to battle you over it. So then it's my job as a friend to let you do what you're going to do at that point. So Taylor did say that she was kind of envisioning this album that each song was meant to serve as a different confession to a different person. And I thought that was interesting because she really felt speak now, that if you have a problem with something, it is best to speak up about it. And I respect that in her music.
It's also fun that, I mean, a lot of her music, as we know, is autobiographical, and then we get into like folklore, which is, more like kind of like storytelling, fantasy type stuff. But this isn't something that she went through. This was like inspired by a friend of hers.
Right.
I have a really long quote here from her. Do you want me to share it?
Quote it.
Okay, what Taylor said about this song. She said, "This song was inspired by one of my friends who was telling me about her childhood sweetheart crush guy. They were kind of together in high school and went their separate ways, and it was kind of understood that they were going to get back together. Then she one day comes in and tells me that he's getting married. He had met this girl who was just this mean person who made him completely stop talking to all of his friends, cut off his family, had him so completely isolated. And I just kind of randomly was like, so are you going to speak now? She said, what do you mean? I was like, oh, like storm the church, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'll go with you. I'll play the guitar. It'll be great. She was kind of laughing, and then later on I was wrapping my mind around the idea of how tragic it would be if somebody you loved was marrying someone else. Later I had a dream about one of my ex-boyfriends getting married, and it all just came together that I needed to write this song about interrupting a wedding. For me, I like to think of it as good versus evil. This girl's so completely painted as an evil one, so this is Speak Now." So, like, it's just, like, fun. You listen to these, like, songs of Taylor Swift, and we try to think, like, oh, how does this connect to, like a moment that we saw her, like, in public or with a certain person or something she's talked about before. But this was just, like, a story completely inspired by something that, like, one of her friends had told her about, my ex is marrying the wrong girl.
And I do love that whenever on her Eras tour, she's introducing folklore, and she says that was the first time that it ever occurred to her to not write autobiographical. But the truth is, she wasn't interrupting weddings and stuff then. So, I mean, her Speak Now era is still fun and silly and whimsical. I don't know. I love it. I did read for Thanksgiving NBC special, she said, "Real life is a funny thing. In real life, saying the right thing at the right moment is beyond crucial. So crucial, in fact, that most of us start to hesitate for fear of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. But lately, what I've begun to fear more is that letting that moment pass without saying anything. I think you deserve to look back on your life without this chorus of resounding voices saying, 'I could have, but it's too late now.' So there's a time for silence, and there's a time for waiting your turn. But if you know how you feel and you so clearly know what you need to say, you'll know it. I don't think you should wait. I think you should speak now." I just thought that was beautiful.
Did you guys see the rumors on who fans think this song could be about? Like which one of her friends?
Oh, no.
I saw two different ones.
Okay, the one that I saw more often than not was Hayley Williams of
Yeah.
Paramore. When she went to her high school boyfriend, who also happens to be in Paramore, I guess,
Yes.
went to his wedding. And so, which is also surprising that, well, a few songs later from the vault tracks, Hayley Williams pops up
Yeah,
Right.
that makes
on
sense.
this album.
And
Yeah.
I believe, I'm trying to look over my notes. I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift went to the wedding with Hayley Williams.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. I also saw that it could be about Kelly Pickler. I think, let's see here. Taylor always says she has the Picture to Burn song Carrie Underwood has Before He Cheats. And now Best Days of Your Life is the song that she wrote with Taylor. And it's got the same kind of ideas.
Sentiment?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I also really like, Lacey, that quote that you had said when she was like, "I think you should speak now," because that's what she said in the Speak Now tour intro, which is also very fun because recently, not that long ago, I went to a Taylor Swift night with Club 90s with Michael, and he played like the tour intro, the Speak Now tour intro before playing Speak Now, and it was really cool. It was just like a cool element to add to like a club night, to like a Taylor Swift night. So that was really fun. So that was also just top of mind for me. But It was a lot of fun. I was reading about what the critics said at the time when it came out the first time. And there was a critic at Entertainment Weekly that called the song expertly catchy. And then there was another critic that said the song is brilliant and said this song is sweet, funny, bratty, and edgy all at the same time.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift remains one of our most gifted young lyricists. And so I think I like to read the praises she was getting even back then and how it just absolutely still holds true.
Which is true because she's so sassy in this song.
Yeah.
And I love it. She's such a smart ass.
Yeah, like she's not just like singing it. She's like, it's really storytelling, right?
This episode is sponsored by Base. We've all been there trying to fit everything we think we might need for a trip, only to end up with your suitcase bursting out at the seams, or you have to weigh your bag beforehand to make sure that you're not over the weight limit. Well, with Base, there's room for everything, literally everything. I have packed so much into my Base Weekender bag. I can fit 15 pairs of shoes and underwear for a weekend trip. I can bring it all. I don't have to decide what I'm going to bring with me because I'm carrying around my Base.
I'm obsessed with it. And I can say with confidence, as someone that did this, the Base Weekender bag is the perfect size for a weekend trip to go see the Eras Tour. I used it when I went to LA, and I wasn't 100% sure if I was even going to go to the show or not. I packed 5 Taylor Swift t-shirts just in case. And it still had space for all of my other weekend outfits, for all of my toiletries, for 3 pairs of shoes, and it's insanely cute. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it. Obsessed.
I love all the different compartments in it. There's a zipper on the bottom, and I was still able to pack my toiletries, an extra purse. There's plenty of space for you to be able to organize and pack efficiently.
Right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/Taylor Swift fan. That's BEIS travel.com/Taylor Swift fan to get 15% off your first purchase. That's BEIS travel.com/Taylor Swift fan. I love that you said sassy, Lacey, because when I'm looking at the lyrics of this song, like the first 2 lines are very sassy. Like it just automatically comes off with a little bit of attitude, but a little playful attitude. She says, I'm not the kind of girl who should be rudely barging in on white-veiled occasions, but you're not the kind of boy who should be marrying the wrong girl. So right away, there's a little bit of snarky attitude here.
Can we also just love how instead of saying, like, I'm not the type of girl to be, like, ruining a wedding, she says a white-veiled occasion?
Yes.
Who thinks like that? It's kind of like, what song is it, like, in folklore where, like, instead of saying graveyard, she says where the spirit meets the bone? I'm like, instead of saying graveyard, that's how she described it. Instead of saying, like, a wedding, she says a white-veiled occasion.
I get stuck on the videos on TikTok or Instagram or wherever where it's comparisons what a normal person would write in their lyrics versus what Taylor Swift does with her lyrics.
She continues and she says, I sneak in and see your friends and her snotty little family all dressed in pastel.
And her snotty little family all dressed in pastel. She is making fun of the family, of what they're wearing. That's like the bridesmaid's dress from hell, the stuff that people never, ever want to wear. They're just all dressed up in pastel.
I love it.
And she's being a bridezilla. She's yelling at a bridesmaid somewhere back inside a room, wearing a gown shaped like a pastry.
Which is so funny.
So what pastry are we picturing in our heads whenever
Pop-Tart.
she says that?
Pop-Tart? Yeah.
Pop-Tart.
Pastry. I mean,
I was just thinking like that cake, like a very stereotypical bridal dress.
The cupcake,
That's kind of like the cupcake one. Essentially, I think like her new Speak Now dress on tour, the one that she
like
wears.
real poofy?
The one where the poofy
Layered.
ones. Layered, the new one that she wears when she sings Long Live. That's a gown shaped like a pastry, right?
When she's talking about the family all dressed in pastel, I'm kind of getting vibes of like Cinderella's Evil Stepsisters.
Yeah.
Like what Haim is doing in the Bejeweled music video and stuff. I'm kind of getting that vibe. That's what I'm picturing. The snotty sisters. Snotty family.
I'm picturing the bad bridesmaids dresses, the colors that you're judging, something that you would never pick yourself, that if this was my wedding, it'd be so much better kind of vibes. But I love that she's making fun of them. I'm sorry. I love that.
I don't think you have to apologize.
It's okay to be catty and snarky every now and then because she's sticking up for her friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're always going to make, even if you like the dress that someone else is wearing, but if that girl double-crossed your friend, you're going to make fun of that dress.
Yeah.
She continues and she says, "This is surely not what you thought it would be. I lose myself in a daydream where I stand and say, don't say yes, run away now. I'll meet you when you're out of the church at the back door.
Back door.
Don't wait or say a single vow. You need to hear me out." And they said, "Speak now."
Speak now.
Ow.
Even though this is a daydream, that is a true friend if it is coming down to that moment, not to interrupt the wedding, but if you see a friend scared in that hesitation and you just say, you don't have to do this. If this is not what you want, I will sneak out the back door with you. We can run away together. We can run out of this situation. I will go back and tell everybody to leave.
But
That is
see-
a true friend who would do that.
But see, I don't see it as a friend situation.
It's not because she wants to speak up during a wedding and ruin it, but I could see a friendship really just saying, I'll meet you out, but you don't have to do this. I'll meet you outside. I'll take care of the situation. If it was truly a bad situation that a friend was going to get into and you know that they didn't want to go through with it. You don't have to go through with it just because these people are here.
Mm-hmm.
Fond gestures are exchanged and the organ starts to play a song that sounds like a death march.
Love that line.
I'm-
Love that
so funny.
line.
And I'm hiding in the curtains. It seems that I was uninvited by your lovely bride to be.
It is just bratty. I love it.
A death march.
A death
That's
march.
so funny. That's so funny how people with different perspectives can see a situation, can read a situation. Taylor sees this song playing right now as a death march.
It's all-
But the people sitting in the crowd who are all for this couple are like, what a lovely day.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
beautiful.
So technically, if the death march is just the song of the bride walking down the aisle, my death march was enchanted. If that's the context.
It's all about viewpoint.
She floats down the aisle like a pageant queen, but I know you wish it was me. You wish it was me.
Don't you?
Don't you?
Don't you? That's so
Don't
funny.
you?
Like, oh my gosh, you wish it was me, don't you?
She goes back into the chorus. Don't say yes, run away now. I'll meet you when you're out of the church at the back door. Don't wait or say a single vow. You need to hear me out. And they said, speak now.
Could you imagine? I would love to be in that position of that much confidence. Like, you're marrying someone else, but I know that you wish it was me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a confident person. And I aspire to one day be that confident, but I unfortunately have passed this phase where this would have been possible for me.
Well, I think the current situation would be something similar to like, you're always in my views, but not in my likes. So I think that's kind of similar, maybe, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor continues. I hear the preacher say, speak now or forever hold your peace.
No, it's speak now or forever hold your peace. I used it in a caption on Instagram the day before I got married because it was also a week before Speak Now came out. I was like, this is, Speak Now, forever hold your peace. But obviously when I typed it out, I was hoping people would read it in like the singing tone.
Okay, I was wondering if you like did dashes and like extra
Spaces.
I
extra
should have.
letters.
I should have. But I guess I just have to assume that the Swifties know.
Yeah,
Capital,
they do.
lowercase,
They do.
capital, lowercase.
Speak now.
There's the silence. There's my last chance. I stand up with shaky hands, all eyes on me.
On me.
Horrified looks from everyone in the room.
But I'm only looking at you.
Did you guys? There was like a moment in time where that part got popular on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people were just using it like out of context, right? Of just like in any situation where there's just horrified looks from anyone in the room. And this was like a couple months ago, and I was getting so salty that people were like not knowing it was a Taylor Swift song. Like just people, there's random people on TikTok. Obviously, you hear like a
They
sound.
were
on,
using it.
yeah, you use a sound on
Trending,
TikTok, and
yeah.
sure, I've been that person also where I just use a random sound from a random song. I don't know what it's from or what TV show it's from or whatever. But this
This one hurt.
This one, it hurt me. Just seeing random people, I'm like, you don't know this Taylor Swift song, I just know you.
But I do love that soundbite though.
I do, me too.
I'm not the kind of girl who should be rudely barging in on white-veiled occasions, but you're not the kind of boy who should be marrying the wrong girl.
So she just repeats the same verse from the beginning. A classic
Yeah, she
Taylor
repeats-
Swift move.
And she repeats the chorus. Oh, no. There's a couple new stuff. Okay, she says, don't say yes, run away now. I'll meet you when you're out of the church at the back door. Don't wait or say a single vow. You need to hear me out. They said, speak now. And you'll say, let's run away now. I'll meet you when I'm out of my tux at the back door. Baby, I didn't say my vows. So glad you were around. And they said, speak now.
That's like it's like a happy ending, right? For her, not for the bride, unfortunately, but a happy ending for her, for the narrator.
Yeah, for the person that ruined the wedding.
For the narrator of the story, which, like, I mean, don't you ever just like watch movies or TV shows where you're like, I know I shouldn't be rooting for this. Like, I shouldn't be rooting for someone to ruin a wedding. I shouldn't be rooting for this person to be like having an affair or like whatever. But sometimes you just kind of do. That's how I feel listening to the song. It's like, obviously I'm rooting for the narrator.
And what if that was your love story? What if you went to a wedding, interrupted it, said, don't do it, and then
It works out?
yeah. And then it's you and that person together forever.
Is that something you would tell people? Like, is that something that you would be proud of to
Yeah,
like,
is
tell
that bragging
people
points?
as like a part of your like love story, which is another Taylor Swift
I
song?
think
But like,
you have to brag about it. I mean, who else has that kind of story? I don't think it's pretty
Right.
common.
All right. If you're a listener, you're listening right now, please let us know. Hit us up in the DMs, email us. All that info is in the description of this podcast. So if your relationship has ever come about by someone speaking up, or if like your parents or relatives, I want to hear the juicy gossip.
Well, some people end up married to a person that they cheated on their former spouse with. And although they might not tell people that necessarily, everybody knows it. I know those people. I know friends' parents who's like that. So, I mean, you can, and sure, they've been together for a super long time now. And maybe it was meant to be. That's way, way in the past. But you still know.
It was a messy
You still
start.
know. Yeah.
isn't this kind of? Have y'all seen? Is it? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. But isn't that like the movie My Best Friend's Wedding
No.
with Julia Roberts?
Well, Julia Roberts, okay, so her best guy friend is getting married to a girl she doesn't think is right for him. And she, I guess, realizes that she's in love with him. So eventually she has to try and speak up.
She goes
About it.
to the wedding and she tries to talk him out of it. Like, she does everything in her power to stop the wedding. It didn't work. Oh, spoiler.
What a great movie.
Spoiler.
Man, that's a good movie. Good rom-com.
I need to rewatch it. I couldn't remember how it ended,
I don't remember either.
so I needed to watch it
I don't remember either.
until Amy spoiled it. So now there's no reason to go back and watch it, I guess.
Which Julia Roberts actually had like a messy love life there
She
for a
did.
little bit, which I didn't realize until I don't know why it was coming up recently. But yeah, she'd left somebody like a day before her wedding and then ended up with his best friend for a
Oh,
while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That is juicy.
Just scandals, but no judgment on other people for their choices in life. I mean, I don't know. My marriage wasn't perfect and ended in divorce, so no judgment on other people and how they do stuff. But it's fun to speculate and think about, I guess. That sounds so gossipy. But you
I'm
know
a
what
judge
I
him.
mean.
I'm a judge him.
I mean, she wrote this as a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
is. It is very juvenile.
Yeah.
But like in a fun way.
Yeah.
The hidden message in the song is just, you always regret what you don't say, which pretty on point, I would say. And I did look to see, she did perform this as a surprise song in Tampa not that long ago. That's a good one. I mean, they're all good ones.
Every time I hear gown shaped like a pastry, though, I just think back to Nick and the Pop-Tart situation. And I want to say that this song was foreshadowing our podcast to come,
An Easter
where we
egg.
were breaking down, Pop-Tarts.
Could have been. I'm right there with you, Lacey.
Yeah.
That would be a terrible dress, though, that looked like a Pop-Tart.
Look like a Pop-Tart?
Yeah, right?
Well, no, remember when she wore the mirror ball dress?
Oh, that's where it came from.
And she said, she's like, I'm a Pop-Tart rapper.
Yeah, but that was cute.
And that wasn't shaped like a pastry necessarily. It was more like the silver-ish.
I'm just
to
thinking
it.
of like a big square or rectangle.
Like a
Yeah.
literal box.
Yeah,
Like
I
a
am.
box of Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, that's what I was envisioning.
Did we just come up with our Halloween costume? If we get to go to another era show, we should dress as Pop-Tarts.
That would be pretty funny.
Nobody would get it.
Lobster flavored Pop-Tarts.
Our friend
Ew.
Izzy on TikTok was at the LA
Yeah.
show this weekend, and he was repping with a
I
with
know.
a lobster.
Yeah, like a little lobster
pin.
pin on his
Which
shirt
is
or something.
so cute.
Yes.
That's adorable. That makes me want to cry.
Very cute. We all had so much fun dressing up for the Eras tour. I've seen, oh my gosh, I see this chick on TikTok that is doing a friendship bracelet dress
Oh, really?
that she's been working on for a really long time. And it's just so cool how creative people can get. I saw on TikTok at the LA shows this past weekend, someone dressed as Taylor Swift vigilante shit, her actual like dance performance, and her partner was the chair.
That's funny.
I just thought that was hilarious how much thought and effort people put into these Eras costumes.
That is so funny.
What if we had a Taylor Swift themed Halloween party
Yes.
and
And then-
everybody dresses up in a different Taylor Swift costume?
I love that.
It's a great idea. Yes.
It'd be so fun.
I'm
That would be
in.
fun. I'm in. That'd be cool.
I jokingly mentioned, like, what if we did a Halloween Taylor Swift themed night whenever I was in Arlington at the museum doing a Taylor Swift night. And I met someone named Alex who actually had the very same idea and had messaged us about it. So I'm going to credit Alex. I believe we've heard that in our DMs a couple of times, but I don't know. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. We should look into that. That'd
We
be
should.
fun.
We should.
Okay.
We're having another meeting just on the podcast. Again.
It's
we
fine.
keep doing this.
We should just go like live on Instagram during a podcast meeting.
We should. Actually, that would be really fun. That's another great idea. Next time we record, maybe we will. It'll be fun.
All right. Well, that does it for this episode of 13 and Taylor Swift Fan Podcast. Let us know, A, if you want to come to our Halloween party we haven't planned yet. B, let us know if you've ever been a part of a speaking up situation at a wedding or if there's some good drama where that started or ended relationships. We would love to hear it. All the info to contact us is in the description of this podcast. Please subscribe to us if you haven't already on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on right now. And join us next time. We're going to be getting to track 5 on Speak Now. We're going to break down Dear John.
Y'all, none of us is wearing the cardigan.
Is that 13 years bad luck?
Dang it.
Thanks for listening to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.